And so he goes to the School of Friendship, because remember, Smolder's there, and Smolder's like a dragon, so she kind of knows what's up. And basically she's like, yeah, dude, this is like puberty, and it's called the molt, or whatever. It's like second stage of puberty. It's weird, because like originally he got really big, but anyway. So he's got like the molt, right? And like basically, he's just, it's bad to get bad. So he just like starts having like giant firebirds like all over the place, and just like setting like all of the rooms around him on fire. And Smolder basically tells him that the molt is different than greed-induced growth, and it's something that they go through during like actual puberty. And when dragons have the molt, basically they just get kicked out of their homes and have to like go away and be like adults and do all this adult, and they just like, they have to leave home, right? And so to Spike, like that's messed up, you know, because he lived with Twilight his whole life, and to think that he's gonna have to cut off this relationship with her, that scares him, right? And he's like, crap, you know, I don't want that to happen. Because he cares so much, and they both care about each other, right? So he's afraid. He's like, oh, dude, I don't really want to like have to leave forever. That would kind of suck. And so as he goes through this process, like all of a sudden he turns to, you know, Zecora, right? Because he thinks, okay, well, Zecora, you know, she can make a potion, and she can basically solve like any problem ever if I just go to her house and, you know, ask her to get rid of this crap, so that I can, you know, stay young or whatever and live with Twilight, right? And so he goes over here, talks to her, and says, hey, you know, can we maybe like fix this, right? And what's interesting is like, as he's at Zecora trying to figure out what's going on, basically like, not only does he look like ridiculous, he also smells like really, really bad, so just like traditional, you know, adolescent stuff, I guess, I don't know. And so, because he smells like it's really, really bad, basically like Rarity kind of comes over too, and Rarity needs some help. I guess she's getting like a potion for her knitting and some of her feathers or whatever. And so, like, Rarity walks into Zecora's hut, and Spike just kind of like hides in a little bin, like, so that Rarity doesn't see him. And because he doesn't want to look like crap in front of her. And so, you know, she comes and gets her potion, and she leaves. But as she's coming home, there's like this giant, like, huge bird that just starts to attack like Rarity and Zecora. And this giant bird basically just like swoops down and just grabs Zecora, and then it grabs Rarity, and just grabs these two people and is like, I'm just gonna like eat you guys. And like, it was just insane. And so Spike sees this, and he has like no clue what the heck to do. And so thankfully Twilight comes, and she was like following Spike. And so like Twilight comes in, and she basically just like flies around and kind of like shoots lasers at this bird for like 10 minutes. And while she's like shooting lasers at him, she can't really like kill him because she doesn't want to kill her friends. So it's kind of like this sticky situation. And in the middle of all of this, you got Spike, and Spike is like, he's gotten like these scale things all over his entire body. And then he starts to turn like gray, and he just is standing there in one scene, and his whole body just like from feet to his head just starts to get like encapsulated in this like stone, and basically like in a matter of like a couple of seconds he like becomes like a stone, like a statue, which is like, you know, it's like this whole cocoon around his body is just formed, which is just, it's pretty crazy. So after that it cuts, and then they come back to the scene, and I get to the scene, and you see he just kind of stands there and just is frozen for like 10 seconds. But then he starts to kind of shake around and have some fun, get going. And what happens is he breaks out of this giant cocoon thing, and all of a sudden he's got wings, which is pretty sick. And so he's like, okay, well, I guess I have wings now. That's cool, I guess. And then there's like this huge like blast zone around it. It's just insane. He goes through this huge transformation. And he just starts like, he kind of does like, when Twilight first got her wings, she spent a long time trying to figure out how to fly, and she was always like wrecking everywhere. It was a really big mess at the beginning. And basically that's kind of what Spike does here, is he just kind of starts trying to figure out how to fly, and in like a couple of minutes he kind of gets the hang of it. And so he just kind of flies up, and then like shoots like giant fire flames into this guy, or this big bird's face. It makes him drop rarity, and Zecora and Twilight catches Zecora, and Spike catches Rarity, of course, right? And they save the day, and everyone's happy, and everyone goes home, and they all survive, and they all have a great time. And then they land. Spike looks Twilight in the eyes, and he is just struck with fear, and so scared because he thinks that, at least according to what's her name? At least according to Smolder, this transformation, this mold, means that Spike has to leave his family and his friends forever. But Twilight, she says, no, that's bogus. She says that's insane. And that she would never want to leave him or force him out of home. And she says they must stay together, this team, this group, and go through their experiences as a team and a group. Because they care about each other. They've grown up together. Literally been with each other since this guy was born. And there is no desire whatsoever to separate, because the power of any bond, any friendship, any relationship asset can overcome any natural phenomenon or any rule of nature by simply allowing the group and the mastermind to grow as a team and to work together to overcome any obstacle. Physical, emotional, societal, doesn't matter. All comes down to them being together. And that's what happens. I mean, they live together, as we'll see soon, literally for the rest of their lives. And and she defies all natural logic, because he has control over his destiny. He has control over his life. It doesn't matter what he goes through, externally or internally, as long as he stays true to his core values, core beliefs, and core mastermind social group, which is going to pull him through to that next level of success, influence, and inspiration for all those around him, which is just ridiculously powerful. Okay, awesome. All right, March for Effort. So we get really, really closely introduced to a new character in here that is going to be ridiculously huge for the rest of the show. Her name is Cozy Glow. Cozy Glow. You kind of see her right here. And Cozy Glow is just this, cute little girl. And she's at a school of friendship with everybody else, right? And at the school of friendship, she's trying to learn all her stuff. And she says, hey guys, all right, cool. Going through my classes, it's awesome. But, she meets the CMC. And the CMC, they really want to help. They really want to go to the school of friendship. But Twilight won't really let them go to the school of friendship because, they're already, ridiculously good at friendship because that's, what they've been doing their whole life. And so the CMC kind of, sneak in and they're we're going to take classes. We want to learn things. And Cozy Glow sees them, right? So Cozy Glow says, hey, guys, can you help me? Can you tutor me? And they're of course we'll tutor you, right? Because they want to take the classes. They want to... And she asked, and Cozy Glow asked the cutie marker characters, hey, can you tutor me? And they're of course we'll tutor you, We would love to. Because they really are so excited about friendship. It's what they're passionate about. It's what they do, basically for a living, which is super cool. And it's just what they love. And so they go and they go over and they have a test in a week. And so basically they just spend the whole week learning about friendship, generosity, kindness, all these great principles of friendship, which is super super cool. They work through the homework assignments together, and it's just a really great experience as a team. Everything the main six embody in their day-to-day lives, they kind of channel everything into Cozy Glow so that she can do really well on this test, right? And they're super super excited about it. She gets an A on her homework, and it's just a great situation. And so they get to have fun, doing what they love, which is helping others. And she comes back and she takes the test. And then she walks out of school after she takes this test. And man, it is a tough situation, right? Because you don't really know what's going on. And especially with hard set grades, it's you got to go and it's either you perform or you don't. And it's, you get the results or you don't. And so for Cozy Glow, she comes in, she takes this test, and she just fails. And she's crap, It's really bad. And so Twilight, she sees this going on, and she sees the CMC tutoring her, and she says, hey, you guys made her fail this test. What the heck, man? And they're like, what do you mean we made her fail the test? We tried our best and we were really, really going hard. And it's just this stark contrast between like reality, which is transparent, and then these lies that are circulating. And so, Cozy Glow, she sees Twilight get really upset, so she goes to Starlight. And Starlight, she's working at the school as the guidance counselor for everybody. And as she comes in her office and she says basically that she failed the test on purpose so that the CMC, so Twilight would think that they were bad at friendship and needed to come to school. Which is just ridiculous, right? Because these guys are ridiculously good at friendship because they've literally been doing this for so long. Just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to get better with experience. You're going to get better through trial, error, and success after success. And so they're like ridiculously good. And Starlight knows this, and she says that like it was a nice thing to do, it was knowable, it was kind, it was pure of heart. But in reality, like basically these guys, they can't come to school because like they would be teachers, right? And it just does not make sense. But she does, say, it was nice for you to fail this test on purpose to help these guys succeed. So it's a good solid thing to do. And so basically, like Twilight has them come in, and Starlight works with Twilight, and they say, what can we do here, right? They take these guys in, and they say, all right, you know what? They give them like caps, they give them gowns, they have a whole ceremony for them, and they make them, contemporary or honorary friendship graduates. And they're like, we're honorary friendship graduates, we graduated, woohoo! And they just have like this really, really awesome ceremony for them. And then everybody else pretends to graduate, but then Twilight's like, nah, you guys have like 3 more years, chill out. Which is it's a funny scene. But basically, like, they become honorary friendship graduates, and then, they can come over to the school, and they can work, as tutors, right? And so they have more things to do with their time as tutors, and they can help other people, which is what they're passionate about, right? They're able to focus and do what they love to help others and really have that impact that they want. Just like kind of how they helped Cozy Glow learn to study for this test and do well on her homework, even though she kind of like intentionally failed the test, which wasn't the greatest situation. But they worked past it, right? And Cozy Glow did the right thing. The right thing was going to Starlight and being transparent about what was really going on, and being wholehearted, honest, and completely true about what made her do what she did and what brought her to actually, lie basically about this test and about her intelligence, her knowledge. And she realized her true values and shared those with others. And that's the key, and that's what allows us to end with a happy ending, is because of that transparency. Because she was honest and she came clean the moment that there was a problem. Because in her mind, there wouldn't have been a problem if they got into the school, but they didn't get into the school. And so she unintentionally created a problem. And then she immediately solved it by coming clean fast. So if you ever have any kind of challenge, the best thing you can do, even if it's tough, even if you think you'll get punished, is to just come clean. Because I remember I was coming home and I was walking into the lobby, and the lobby like is really nice. So like there's like, it's got like these like nice granite floors, and basically I got like this painting I made in the dorm, and I'm bringing it home, and like I dropped the painting on the floor, like right in front of everybody. And they just like paint all over the floor. It's like pastels everywhere. And just this massive mess. But nobody like actually sees it, which is just like insane, because there's some guys and they're standing behind a desk, and there's some other people that are just looking away. And so I pick up this painting, and like nobody sees what just happened. And you got 2 choices, right? First choice is to just walk away, go home, not care about it. Second choice, do the right thing, come clean, and say, hey, guys, there's a shitload of paint on the floor because I just dropped this painting. What can we do about it to fix this challenge? And it's a tough situation because, like, on one hand, it can be very expensive if this paint doesn't come up to actually clean the floor. And there's a legitimate punishment in service if it doesn't come up. And on the other hand, you just like walk away, you know? You gotta do the right thing! Because think about it like this: if this paint dries, it's gonna be 100 times harder to get up. And so I say, hey, I kind of like spilled this paint on the floor. Can we like wipe it up? And he brings out, a wet cloth, and it wipes right up because it's still wet, right? But if you hesitate, if you wait, if you let your problems sit and harden and develop into deeper and deeper and deeper and greater and greater and greater issues over time, it's going to be a problem. That paint dries, you're going to have a very, very, very tough time getting up. Versus immediately saying you were wrong and that you made a mistake and admitting it, you can solve the problem, no harm, no foul, minimal harm, minimal foul, it's not a big deal. And then you solve the problem as a group, as a community. Awesome! Okay, so this one's so fun. The mean six. Okay, so like the episode starts and you've got like Queen Chrysalis, right? And basically she is like pretending to, she's a changeling, right? So you can like, you know, change into ponies. And there's this one that she really likes to use, which she uses a lot throughout the rest of the show. And it's like this reporter, whatever, right? So she turns into like this reporter pony, and she like takes photos of the main six, and then she like collects hair samples of the main six, and she's like, oh, these are gonna go amazing in the newspaper, you're gonna love it, you guys are gonna be famous, you're already famous, oh, this is so great, thank you so much. And then she kind of like goes over into the forest, and she takes, you know, these pictures of the main six, and the hair sample of the main six, the hair samples, and just like puts them together on this like demon altar thing, which is pretty creepy. And then she just kind of like uses her magic to turn these like pictures and hair swashes into like actual like kind of like zombie demons, but they like act like normal ponies, so they're like pretty realistic zombie demons, and they become real, right? And so she creates the mean six, and the mean six they're like the main six. They look like the main six. They sound like the main six. Obviously, they're voiced by, you know, the actors, the voice actors, but they're just like ridiculously mean. Because I mean, basically, she turned these trees into like people. So like that's kind of messed up, right? And so basically, her goal was like take over the world and just explode everybody. With her new, you know, army of six, right? And so at the same time, you know, Zecora goes and she, you know, starts her army and tries to lead everybody, and she's doing all this stuff over here. The main six decide that they're going to go on a camping trip, right? And so they go into like the forest, which is where Zecora. They're in like Everfree Forest, and they're just, you know, having a fun time going through this path, and they're making it happen, right? Because they just want to go and just kind of relax. They also want to visit like the Tree of Harmony and just see everything, which is like super, super, super fun. So that's like exactly what's going on, right? And so as they're like walking through this forest, they start to run into, you guessed it, you know, the mean six, right? And so, you know, they're going on their path and they're having fun together, and they start to kind of split up. You know, a couple of them go this way, a couple of them go this way. They're going on an adventure. They're having fun in the forest. And kind of midway through here, you have the mean six, and the mean six literally, like, they don't even listen to Zecora, which is just ridiculous. They don't, not Zecora, Chrysalis. They don't listen to Chrysalis because Chrysalis, like, tries to force them to listen to her. And she says, you are my subjects, you're my being. She tries to force them to listen to her. And she says, you are my subjects, you are my beings, I control you, to the mean six. And these guys are like, dude, you know, we don't care, like, piss off, right? We're gonna go do our own thing. And so they, like, totally leave her because, you know, she treats them poorly, right? She treats them like they're trees, which, you know, they kind of are trees. But they act and they talk and they think like people, right? And so you can't like force people on your side. You have to convince them carefully and slowly to work with you. And that's why, you know, Thorax has such major, major success leading all the changelings versus her. I mean, she can't even lead a group of trees. She's trying to rule by force. It just does not work as well as quality friendship and leadership. So, again, remember the main six are trying to kind of go to like the tree of friendship, which we'll just say is like right here, right? And so they're going over here. And while they're walking, like, you know, say like they run into the mean six. Now remember, the mean six, they look like exactly like the main six. So because they split up, when they kind of run into the mean six, you know, the mean six treat them really, really poorly. And just like the main six think the mean six are them, the mean six think that, you know, the main six are them. And so it's just this huge, huge, huge mix up because they split up, and then after they split up, they meet like their alter selves that were created by Zecora, or by Chrysalis, and then they like get into little arguments, right? Because while the main six are ridiculously positive and super happy, the mean six, I mean, they're just like really, really negative and super angry and upset all the time. And so they really kind of start to clash pretty hard as they meet each other, right? And you start to have like, and it's not like super violent because again, like they do think that they're speaking with like themselves, right? They think that they're in the same group, just like these guys think they're in the same group. And so the arguments aren't going to be as intense. But what happens is really interesting. Like they start to like, Applejack, the fake Applejack messes with the real Rainbow Dash. Similarly, the fake Rainbow Dash messes with the real Applejack. And they just try to like antagonize each other, push against each other, and really just like be mean, which is kind of not the best thing possible. As this goes on and on and on, they start to just antagonize each other, and it's just a bad situation for really everybody. And they start to argue and fight, and no one listens, and they call each other names. It's just a bad situation. There's not like any physical violence. It's all emotional harm. And this just it makes them upset about each other, and they start to fight and fight and fight, and eventually they just leave and they leave and they leave. And the main six, they meet up at the Tree of Harmony, and then the mean six, they all get found by Queen Chrysalis, and Chrysalis basically says, "You guys are useless. What the heck?" And this turns them all back into trees. But at the end of the episode, what's really interesting is how the main six react, right? Because the main six, they just got into really big arguments with who they think, they think that they got into arguments with each other, right? And so as they get to this tree and they're trying to figure out what's really going on, and they want to figure out sort of how to like, change their friendships and just revitalize with each other, they realize like they have to totally ignore all the negativity that they just experienced, even though like it was from each other. They need to ignore it. They need to look towards the future. They need to focus not on this crap that just happened, that was just a bad experience, bad fights, whatever. You need to focus on this positive energy and not let some forest, split them apart or pull them apart from each other, right? Because they are a collective group, a collective mastermind. As a team, they're so much stronger than they could ever be if they were fighting or arguing, because it just is going to crush the relationships. And it's not to say like every single relationship has to be totally argument-free, totally carefree. I mean, just perfect, 24/7. That's not true whatsoever. And these guys know that this is natural. Like a little bit of tension here and there, totally not a big deal. Walk away from it. It's okay as long as you come back to that positive zone. And you come back to having that impact that you want by focusing on quality emotions that will change not just like these relationships, but also their actual states, right? And make them happier to be, happier to group up together, and happier to collectively communicate in this mastermind. That's the powerful part. That's the growth factor, right? And so as they go through this process together, they get to the end and they realize that they need to just forget about this crap. Literally, like if you guys have negative experiences or negative thoughts in your mind, take it, all right? Envision it and throw it away and just freaking forget about it. Because that negativity will do you no good ever in your life. The only thing you want to focus on is positivity. They get to this end point and they realize that all this like little bickering or small talk really doesn't matter. And what really matters is that they're together and that they're connected and they are a group. And the moment that they realize that, they get rid of all the crap that's in their past, forget all the stuff that doesn't matter, and instead they come together as a team and they say, you know what? We're so grateful to be with one another. What an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Thank you. And they totally forget about the crap they were worried about earlier because it just doesn't matter. It was crap, right? And that's the goal. And that's how you get to this constant state of total happiness is by being able to, when there are zombies coming out of the ground trying to piss you off, being able to totally ignore that and come back almost instantly to happiness and to quality connections, friendships, relationships, and bonds that are much, much stronger than any kind of temporary argument or small incident could ever even hope to break. And that's really the power of this collective mastermind, which is ridiculously cool.